Hi, this is George, and I'm going to show you today how to set up a bank inside of i21. First thing you can do is go into cash management, and then you can go into banks. And then what you can do here is you can create a new bank. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new. Now inside of our system, banks are set up by routing number, so you can go ahead and type in a routing number. And in addition to the routing number, the bank name must be unique. So if you have two Bank of Americas, you'll have to figure out which one. So I'm going to say Bank of America N.A. Virginia. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this transaction. Now this might not be your local branch because the routing number goes to that central area for the bank, but you can type in your local branch or you can leave it with the bank. And then now you'll note that my bank is now here associated inside my list of banks. Once it's in my banks, I can go into bank accounts and create a new bank account. So I've got a list of bank accounts here. I'm going to create a new one because I don't see one for the Bank of America account. And this bank account is this is the actual account inside of Bank of America. So you can have one Bank of America Virginia, but you can have 14 accounts at it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bank holder, which would be the account holder, which would be your company name. And I'm going to put my account number of the bank. Again, your balance is self-computed. The contact, this would be like Banker Dave at the bank. And again, here's the address of the bank, and you can override that for a specific account. Your company ID with the bank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is for bank transmission files, and the bank name can be Bank of America, or they might have something else to print on the check. So, it might just have some more detail. So this is where you put the bank that prints on the check and goes on the ACH. Transit number comes in automatically. And then the next EFT or ACH number, I'm going to say 50. So this automatically keeps track of your EFTs and ACHs and auto increments. So when you do file an ACH or an EFT, you'll have a sequentially assigned ACH or EFT number. Now the next thing is the actual file format area. So this is the bank statement file formats, right? And these file formats show you how a bank file is configured. So this is like a positive pay file that you might send to your bank, an ACH or an ACHA. So you have multiple different file formats. Bank statement allows you to import checks, right? So from the bank and clear them. So now basically what we've done is we've created a bank account. We've created an account number. Now I'm hooking that up to a general ledger account. Now, when you look at these accounts, these are all the accounts that are set up inside of the general ledger as cash accounts in the account category. So when I look at my chart of accounts, I look at all the cash accounts. That's what's going to show up. And you can only have one bank account hooked with one GL account for reconciliation purposes, right? So that's something to know. Okay, your ending check number. This is your check audit sequence. So I'm going to say I have 10,000 checks. My next check number is 1, and I'm going to say a check length is 8, which this will pad with zeros inside of your check. Now, here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create checks, right? So I go ahead and created my checks for this transaction, and here it's allowing me to say, hey, do I want a maker print for this bank? So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to maker print, right? And this is just a backup check range if I want to have an additional series of checks in case I run out of checks, right? So this is where I could go, right, and create a backup range of checks where if I ran out of the initial checks, I could use this interim without having to recreate checks. This is for people that are really tight with the check number and they want to see the audit. We do have the check audit up here, which shows you every check when it was issued and all that. So once I've enabled maker printing, you'll note that this check layout screen comes up, and this is the actual layout of the check, how the check is going to look from a bank perspective. So what you can do is you can pick up one of your checks that you've already printed, and you could start to match that check number on the front of the screen here. So you put in, your routing number will come from the actual bank, so that'll be set up here. Your account number will be put in, right? And that'll be from the primary screen. And then you can prefix with the transit signal symbol for each of these transactions. So if I put in a B here, that's going to show ABC. This is my, my prefixes. So you'll see the MICR line start to build here. You can see your check numbers printed here. And then here you can see there's spaces leading or trailing so that you can get spacing on your MICR. So all this, right, can be aligned down here. And then other things you can do is just tape your signature line, so void if not countersigned. And then this will print on the check, and then you can also have another small message here if you want. You could also start to put in electronic signatures, but we'll talk about that in later videos. But go ahead and save that now. And now you've got your full MICR check laid out where I could print a check based upon what I've done so far to date. So that is the setup of the actual bank transaction and bank account. So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll go from there.